And we're live. Welcome to Music Matters with Jason Tramm. We are streaming from the footsteps of New York City, and we're delighted that you can join us for our unique podcast community, where we explore the issues and challenges of the performing arts world as seen through the eyes of distinguished colleagues. Please like us on YouTube and smash that bell icon for the most up-to-date information and upcoming guests and topics. We recently hit our 1,350th subscriber, and we're so excited. Thank you for joining our community. Please remember to subscribe, share, like, and share our videos and help our community grow. This is where you go behind the curtain and meet the artists behind the music. So we're excited to give you a wide variety of genres, from popular and contemporary music to classical and everything in between, because music matters. We have a wonderful guest for you today. We have Iyse Gibson. He is an R&B and pop singer, writer, songwriter, producer, and really we're excited he can join us today. He's produced multiple albums, and he is very busy. Today's his birthday, so happy birthday.
Hey, man, appreciate you, man.
So glad you can join us.
Jason?
Well, it's a great day. Music is everyone's starting to make that comeback to live music and plan the next chapter. I know I'm in the classical music field, but all of my colleagues across the jazz and the rock, we're starting to see things emerge.
Man, it's great. It's great to be able to get out, man. It really is. I love to see the people, man. I love to see the people happy, man, and smiling and getting over this Corona thing. It's a blessing.
It certainly is. And, to get to do music for a living is certainly a blessing. Did you always know you wanted to be a musician?
I would say that I didn't, but my mom would say I did.
They know best, right? Moms know best.
Yeah, man. She would say I did, and that's because when I was a little boy, I was a little baby. When I came out, I was in an incubator because I was premature. Matter of fact, let me tell you this. I was born in my mother's 7th month, April 17th, at 7:30. Yeah, man. And my mom's birthday is January 7th.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But she told me, she said, man, you were born to sing or born to be a musician. And the reason why is because when I came out, it looked like I was holding a microphone to my mouth like this. And I had my hand. I can't make this up. I'm serious.
You couldn't wait to start singing.
Yeah, just like that. So she said that she always knew I was going to be an entertainer.
Were your parents musical? Were you from a musical family?
Yeah, they were, man. My mother, she was a background singer with the Barcades.
Oh, wow.
With Rufus Thomas and Isaac Hayes. My father, he was a pastor. And being the son of a preacher, man, I can't help but to have something musically inclined going on. That's just I think that just runs in his family as well. My mother, matter of fact, the Steinberg family, their names are engraved on Bill Street.
Wow. So growing up in that environment, growing up hearing music your whole life, and when do you first remember singing? When did you start singing in front of people?
I guess I started singing in front of people, man, around about 9 or 10, something like that. In church, stuff like that. That was like where I first started. But I can remember a talent show way back in the day, man. I think that was my first real performance like that, R&B wise, was a talent show. And it was real dope. The crowd went crazy.
What'd you sing?
What did I sing? Oh my God. Shy. You remember that song by Shy?
Absolutely. Yeah, that was great. That's great.
Yeah, man. That's what I sang. That was what I sang in the talent show. And the audience said I won. A judge got upset with me, man. He stole it from me. He told me, he said that he felt like it was too sexual. It's shy. What do you mean? Man, I don't know where he got that from, but hey, the crowd loved it. They were mad at him.
Well, you got to always get that crowd going and moving. So when do you remember, what was the next step for you as a performer? Did you get to sing with your parents? Did they take you? Did they train you as a singer?
Well, yeah, actually, my mother, I used to sit in the car with my mother while we were on road trips, me and my mother and father. And man, I'm talking about we would be singing the whole time. My mother was teaching me how to harmonize, you know, from the back seat, you know, of the car. And my dad, we got on my dad's nerves. He's like, man, we all please shut up. I'm trying to drive, you know.
Oh, he
Got a
loved
four
it.
man, but yeah, but you know, he eventually, man, he understood. He couldn't help it, you know. He joined in because he could sing too.
So growing up in did you grow up in Memphis or did you move there when you were older?
You know, I grew up in a lot of different places, actually, because I moved around a whole lot my whole life. You know, by my dad being a reverend and pastoring, you know, he did a lot with the communities and
Go
stuff
where
like
the
that as
Lord
well.
moves you, right?
Yeah, man. So we moved from place to place. Man, spent some time in Birmingham and Gaston and Wisconsin and Chicago, but we overall we wound up coming to Memphis, and Memphis wound up being home. I think I was here, man, the most part of my life.
So Memphis has a vibrant music scene. What was it like growing up or coming to Memphis and absorbing all those great artists around you?
Man, you realize that there's so much talent. You realize there's so much talent in the world, man. Because out here in Memphis, man, the music scene is amazing, and I got a chance to be around a lot of that talent and whatnot. And I picked up a lot of things from a lot of different artists that are here. You know, people like I mentioned the Barcades. You know, my mother was a background singer, but I wound up meeting like Larry Dotson with the Barcades and whatnot, and having an opportunity to, you know, be on the side of the stage, man. I'm the, you know, and hold the snake before he walks out. You know what I mean? Like, so a lot of that flamboyancy and flash you see that I have, you know, comes from stuff like that. Comes from my upbringing around artists like that. You know, um, I'll say, and that's the entertainment side of it. But as far as meeting people like Willie Mitchell, you know, I met Willie Mitchell when I was a teenager, and his sons, and they were impressed with my talent and my ability, and decided that they wanted to take me in as an artist. And Pop groomed me as a songwriter and as a producer and whatnot. As a musician, I was already playing. As a songwriter, I was already playing. But he groomed me, you know,
Yeah, well,
as a
that must have been
producer.
amazing. Willie Mitchell being a legendary trumpet player, band leader, R&B artist, and then record
Yeah.
producer. So you learn from the best. He worked with like I'm looking at Al Green and like some of these just legends, Ann Peebles, Quiet Elegance, all these like legendary figures in the world there.
So many of them, Jason. Look, let me tell you this. I'll tell you this story real quick. Um, Pop, I called him Pops because we got real close. He's like a dad to me, you know what I mean? And I remember Pop being in the studio, and we were all sitting down around the piano, and Al Green comes in, and he walks in and he sits next to me on the bench, you know, and he starts singing. Um, let's see, "Oh Beautiful" for spacious skies, for amber. You know what I mean? He's singing that, and then he looks over at me and he's like, he's waiting on me to take the next part of the verse, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at Al. I'm in awe because I'm listening to him sing, you know. And I'm like, man, dude, like I'm a fan growing up, man. You know, I grew up listening to you. You know what I mean? So it was a blessing just being able to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? That rich history like that.
Boy, it must have been so incredible to perform with some of your idols and to be there and to have someone kind of guide you through that. I think we all need that as musicians, no matter what the genre is. I know I was around a lot of great conductors at a young age, and just getting to absorb their knowledge is so crucial to being a rounded performer.
Yeah, you got to be a student, man. You got to be studious. You know what I mean? Like that's what I realized growing up. You know what I'm saying? That I had to be studious because I want to pay tribute, man, to the ones that came before me. I appreciate them and their efforts and their work, you know, that they brought to the table. Because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to do what I do.
So people like Willie Mitchell live on through artists like yourself. What a beautiful thought that that we are all like works of the past that are bringing this forward to the next generation.
God bless Pop, man. I rest in peace, Willie Mitchell. I love him, man. Appreciate it.
So now you've been around this atmosphere. You've been training. You've been around the best. When did you start? When did you start songwriting? What were your first topics about? And how do you write? What's your process for writing music?
Um, you know what? It's funny because my first song I think wound up starting out as a poem. I had a poem first, and then I turned it into a song. I believe so. And I think that I may have been about 10, 11 when I wrote my first song. You know, and then growing up, I'll say I don't know. Did I answer that question? Did I answer that question?
I think so. I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah. So
So often,
I
do you write the poetry first? Do you write the text first, or do you write the music first, or is it changed based on the song?
it's always different, man. It's always different. One day I might start off. I might hear a word. I might hear a word, and that whole word just builds a whole idea, and it just falls on the paper. Then another day I can't hear any lyrics, and I hear all of the music first. You know, and it might start with a chord. You know, that chord set a mood, and then we gone from there. You know.
I always like the creative process for artists, and everyone's so different and unique. That's what makes music so interesting. Is everyone brings so much of themselves in there. Do you find your texts, your lyrics to be autobiographical, or how do you pick your topics?
It depends, man. It depends on either what I'm going through or what I may see someone else going through or how I felt that day. You know, it just depends, man. You know, I might have looked up in the sky and saw something that just out of the blue. Let me find my phone. Let me get a, you know, I don't know. It just happens that way.
I tell my students, I teach at a college, I tell my undergraduates that music's like an amber. It captures everything going around society. And, from Beethoven to yourself, people like yourself, it captures amber. Everything around it gets put into the music. When you listen to your songs that you put out in the past, what does it make you feel?
Blessed. I feel blessed because I'm able to share something that a creation that God gave me to the world. So I feel blessed anytime and every time I can share anything with the world, even this interview.
It's certainly a blessing, and yeah, that you get to move people with your music is an incredible gift, and keep on sharing that gift.
Definitely, man. Appreciate you, bro.
So when you're out there, so when did you decide that you wanted to do this for a living?
Oh, I knew now that part. I knew that. I knew that early on. You know, I around about 15, 16 years old, something like that. Um, I was doing some dance choreography and stuff like that, and performing and whatnot. And that was like one of the first times I had gotten paid for doing what I was doing. And as soon as it happened, it was like, oh wow, that's cool. You know, this is what I love to do, and I can get paid for it. You know, but
That's always like a lights on moment, like wow.
right,
It's like
yeah,
paying a kid
man.
to play with blocks.
You know, but at the same time, man, I just love what I do though. I just love to do music. You know, even if I'm not, getting paid for it, I just love to do music. You know.
And so many artists have found that out during this COVID period that even when live performances stopped for so long, we're still artists, we're still creative musicians, and we had to find a way to continue to be creative. And
Yeah.
um, so, what were some of the first, like the formative performances in your career, things that really have inspired you to go on and to achieve more? What were some of the milestones of your career so far?
Um, when I got a chance to meet people like Master P, um, you know, and that came through community work, things like that. I had an opportunity to work with different. I love to give back to the community, man, and work with different organizations to give back to the community. I love doing that. And one of those organizations, they linked me and Master P up, and so meeting people like P and Romeo and his whole family, you know, that was an inspirational moment to me, because again, for me to sit back as an artist and see these artists that I looked up to, that have gone on to be very successful, both in music, in life, in entrepreneurship, all of that kind of stuff. You know, all of that is it's very inspiring. And to get a chance to meet them, and they actually drop some knowledge on you and you know, and tell you something. Hey, man, you know, I'd be a fool not to do everything I could do to carry it further.
We have a lot of young musicians who listen to the show, and that's a great life lesson. Thank you for sharing that, because that is a lesson for anyone, any field of music or the arts, is to listen to people who are out there and to kind of absorb that, because these people who are those legends, they have so much to say, and, you know, we can all learn from those examples.
Yeah, yeah. My dad always said to me, you know, in life, man, you gotta be studious. You got to. You know, you can both learn from other people's mistakes, but you can also learn from their success as well. So, you know, that's why. And I'm very observant too, man. I sit back. You'll see me sitting back, man, with my legs crossed, and I'm just watching. You know.
It's great to take the time to reflect and to think, because it's the only way you move forward. And so let's talk about the studio. When was the first time you went to the studio and started recording? And, like, you know, I've talked to a lot of recording artists, and it's always interesting to me, just like, how do you like learn and get your chops in the studio, and what's it like to kind of go through that journey?
Practice, trial and mistake, practice, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you get in there and you think it sounds one way, and that mic doesn't lie. That's what Pop always told me. Willie Mitchell, he said, "Hey, that mic ain't gonna lie." You know, so once you get in that studio and you get to work, you can listen to it back, and find your mistakes and fix it. Don't quit till it's right.
Yeah, that's a great lesson, because you know, once it's on that recording and it's there, it's locked in stone, right?
That's right, forever, man.
So how old were you when you recorded your first professional recording?
I was professionally, I say I was 17.
So you've been in the studio for a lot of your life. And what have you learned by your years in the studio, making demos and recordings and putting out EPs and albums? What have you learned?
I've learned a lot. I've learned to be patient, but I've also learned to when not to be patient as well. You know, for me, I'm self-taught when it came to production and all of that kind of stuff. But the thing is that through being patient, I got an opportunity to learn and gain more by meeting people like Willie and whatnot, where I was a fly on the wall and he could, you know, show me some things and see some things, you know, or either if I did it, turn around and critique what I did, you know. So that's a blessing, you know. So you got to be patient, you know.
And what's a typical length when you're in the studio? You've written a song, you're in the studio. How long does it take to get the song, like a song from, you know, beginning of the process to the end when it hits Spotify these days? How long does that take in a typical song? I mean, I know everyone's different, but give the audience an idea.
I'm gonna say that every song is different. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say that because the process to every song is different. You know, well, at least for me, you know, as an artist. Whereas I might start on a song today, and depending on that song, I might be finished with it today. Depending on that song, you know, other songs, you know, it may take a while. You may start a song. I've got songs that I started that I haven't finished yet. You know, 2-3 years ago, you know what I mean? You know, but it just depends. It just depends on that song. I don't believe in forcing music, man. You know, a lot of artists, man, they tend to force music. I don't force music. I want God to just move me, and when it comes, and I'm gonna go with it.
That's what's great about an art form, is it's different for every person. Every person adapts it to their own way of doing it, and Thanks for sharing your process with us. What are some songs you're most proud of when you listen to back today? You say, that was really something. I'm really happy with the way that came out. Do you have any that you're particularly? I know some of your songs are very popular. If you look on YouTube, and I've seen some of them over almost 50,000 views. What's it like to watch your music get spread out there and make an impact on people's lives?
Man, that as I told you before, that's a blessing, man. That's a blessing. I'm appreciative of being able to show my craft, show my what I do to the world. I just hope that somebody gets the opportunity to just forget about whatever they were going through for a minute. You know what I mean? Even if it's just for that minute, you know what I'm saying? But you can play it back and say, you know what, that made me forget about some things today. I want to play that song again. If you feel that way, hey, then my job is done. That's what that's why I do music.
Well, that's such a beautiful gift to give people, because everyone across the country and the world has needed that, because COVID's been so hard on so many people that what would we be without our music? What would we be without our Netflix? What would we be without the art in our lives? We don't realize how important that art is.
We would be bored, Jason. That's what we would be.
Yeah, life without art to me just isn't the same. It's not worth living. And so now you told me in the pre-show, we were just talking before the show started, that you're performing. You had a show last night. You got a show tonight on your birthday, and happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
What's it like to get back to live performance again?
Back to live, man. Seeing the people happy, seeing the people being able to come out, man, and get out the house, and seeing families together, stuff like that, seeing people dance again, I mean, it's great, man. It's great. There's nothing like it. You can watch over this all day, but it's not, like I told you earlier, man, it's nothing but that when you get that kick drum in your chest like this, man, and that bass get the man, come on, man. It's nothing like that.
Feel the energy of the crowd. I know for me,
yeah.
I was supposed to be conducting all over the place last summer, and I'm in front of a lot of people. I missed so much. I missed the artists I work with and the members of the orchestra, and it's just not the same. And now I learned how to do lots of things, like doing podcasting was a COVID pivot, but nothing can replace that love of feeling people's energy and making people happy.
Energy's everything, man. Energy's everything. That's what you got in life. If your energy isn't right, that's just like when you get people to come around you. If the energy isn't right, man, you feel it. So energy's everything, man. Energy's everything.
What's it like when you take a song that you record in the studio and then you perform it live? Does the song change? Is over time, do these songs change when you perform? Are they pretty similar? What's that process like?
I'm gonna tell you this. I'll go ahead and tell you something that I heard back in the day, and it was, "Hey man, you want that record to be the record. So when you come live, man, you gonna hear that record. But we always got some surprises in there. Now we ain't, I mean, that's just me. Now I don't know about anybody else, but for me, I'm gonna throw some surprises at you that you ain't gonna expect. As always, if you come to see an IG show, that's what it's gonna be, because I'm coming to entertain. We coming to have a good time.
I love it. Yeah, I think it's so important, to watch something new and interesting. And music exists in the moment, right? It exists in the moment.
Yep.
It exists to perform and entertain people. And by keeping it alive and vibrant, that's what we missed about live performance all these months.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I agree.
What did you learn about yourself? What are some, on this show, we've dealt a lot with people's self-discoveries and innovations during the COVID period. What have you been doing during this period, and how have you kept yourself creatively active?
Prayed a lot. I prayed a lot, man. I prayed a lot, and I got in that studio. And I locked in sometimes, and and I just put down whatever I'm feeling, whatever I'm thinking. Even I might even ask a question. It just depends. Yeah.
Did you have a studio at home, or were you like going to an actual physical studio, or how did you? I think a lot of artists.
Yeah, I've got my own studio. I've got my own studio, and both at home and a building. So, we came out of the building for right now with Corona and all of that. You know what I mean? So right now, yeah, I've been doing work at my other studio.
That's good. Yeah, and it's interesting. Like a lot of the artists, the recording artists I've been back and forth with, they've been doing like remote recordings. People submit tracks separately from across the world and put them together. Have you been
Yeah.
working with artists far away or artists close, or have it been mostly in the same room, or has it been remote?
Yes, I have. I have actually. Um, like for instance, I got a record, man, with a fella in Africa, man. Uh, Gustav Legiste. It's a record that we had done a little while ago. It's called Can't Keep Your Distance. But that's a record. Of course, we did that virtually. You know what I mean? And then I'm working on some other projects too. I got some other people, man, that I'm working with. Some names that some people might know. You know.
Do
Um,
share,
but
please. The
well,
ones you can.
well, I'll say this. Um, I'll say this. I'm doing some stuff with Lenny. I'll leave that.
Okay, it's coming. Where can we find out when these things are released? How do we find out? How does the audience find out about catching up with your work and seeing where you're performing? And how can we find out more about where Iyse Gibson is going to be performing and what's coming out next?
Man, they can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Iyse Gibson. My name is spelled a little differently, y'all. It's Iyse, Iyse Gibson, Gibson, just like Gibson Guitar. Shouts out to Gibson Guitar. Holla at me.
My son plays a Gibson. That's a great instrument.
Yeah, I like Gibson stuff. I got to get my name on it.
Very nice. So tell us what are some things you discovered about yourself during this period in the studio? Was your music and your songs? Did you write a lot of material during this time? Everyone was reacted to COVID differently. I know artists who have taken time away from the art and kind of read and kind of just had to regain themselves personally first. I know artists who have been just killing it on the virtual live streams, the digital platforms. Everyone's gone a different direction. What has Iyse Gibson done during
Yeah.
this period?
Well, I haven't done many live streams and whatnot while this was going on, actually. Um, and I've really been reflecting, reflecting with my family, and I'm spending a lot more time with my family, stuff like that. But I've been writing. I've been producing, as I said, stuff like that. So that's kind of where I've been lately. But and getting ready, getting prepared, getting this band ready, you know, getting everything together so that when we go out here, man, and hit this scene, it's gonna be time to do what it do. It's gonna be showtime.
And the live concerts, I know you're performing quite a bit. You said, what's it like? Has it been? Does the future look good in your neck of the woods? And as the live streaming?
Yeah, yeah. I think everybody's, man, really ready to get out, man. They ready to have some fun. They ready to party. Just like last night, we did a gig at Jerry Lawler's. Shouts out to the King Jerry Lawler, man. By the way, on Bill Street. Y'all make sure y'all come down and check us out, man. You can catch me and my band down there sometimes, man, on Fridays. And come check us out. It's coming along. Everything's moving. It's all moving. So
How
I'm
does the work
excited.
you do in the studio and the writing inform what you do in live performance? And do you find that do you like them both equally as well, or is there one that stands out, or is it both the same for you?
I love performing, man. I do. I really do, man. But I love producing as well. So if I had to take either or, I can't choose, man. I really can't choose. But I know this. If I was producing and writing and not performing, I'd have a void. If I was doing the opposite and performing but not producing and writing, there still would be a void. So I guess I got to have both.
Well, that's thank God you don't, and you get to do both sides of the aisle there. How have you seen the R&B scene change since your time? Since you've been around it since a very young child, and you've got your parents and your mom was in the business. How have you seen that R&B scene change, and what does it look like today?
Um, I've seen it's been very progressive, man. It's been real progressive. You can see if you listen to R&B now, it's a lot a lot of hip hop oriented that is fused into the R&B now. Um, Rather than it used to be, you could almost look at R&B kind of like R&B and soul were a little closer knit together. Um, the artists that I see now, like the younger artists now that are coming out, I'm hearing a lot of uh, R&B and soul mix right now. You know, so it's the progression is positive. I'll put it that way. It's
Now,
positive.
have you been working with a lot of hip hop artists? Have you been putting together like projects, collaborative projects?
I have. I do. I work with all kinds of artists. I work with hip hop artists, R&B, soul, gospel artists. Matter of fact, I got a couple gospel records that I produced. Got a
Wonderful.
young fella named Q1 Person. We got a song called Rescue Me that's out right now, and another one called Speak to Me. And you can find those on YouTube as well.
Fantastic. Well, it's so great. I love to see. I think in music in general, we're seeing such a blending of genres. And where you are in Tennessee, right on the doorstep of Nashville, Memphis, you've got so much great music
Yeah.
there. So it makes sense that it cross pollinates each other, and everyone kind of adds their own thing.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. I love to blend things. I like to try things new. Yeah. Whenever you hear my records, I hope that I have my own sound. You know what I mean?
How does an artist find their sound?
How do you find your sound? Um, I'm gonna tell you what. I can tell you this. That's gonna be prompted from God, man. That's gonna be prompted from God. You're gonna go through trial and error. You're gonna go through a lot of trial and error. You're gonna go through moments where you might sound like some of everybody you hear on the radio sometimes. Until until you got to get to yourself. Get to yourself and just do your own thing. That's what it's gonna have to come to in order to find.
That's great advice. Now, what advice do you have for young people who have this the burning desire to become musicians? What advice do you have to those people?
Don't give up. Don't give up. If it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy, everybody would make it. You can make it, but you got to work. You got to work hard. You got to pray. And man, hey, keep it king. That's just what it is.
I love it. It's such a humbling field, music, because there's always something to learn. I mean, I'm 46 years old. Every time I think I know, I open up a new score. It's something I have so much to learn, and like you're always a
Yeah,
student in this field.
that's right. That's right. You better be, cause look, I'm gonna tell you like this: you get out there on that road, trying to performing wise or something like that. You get out there on that road, man, and you ain't a student. Somebody get on that road and that band will come up there and kick your butt. You'll be. I'm trying to tell you, you better learn. Yeah, just learn and then learn how to. But it's not a competition. This is what I want to say about it from my perspective. That is not a competition for me. Music isn't a competition for me. I'm just trying to be the best artist, best producer, best songwriter I can be, best entertainer that I can be. And so my suggestion to anyone else watching would be to do that exact same thing. Be the best artist or whatever it is that you do, be the best at it that you can be.
That's great advice because ultimately that's we. It's not. I tell all my students, it's music is not a sprint; it's a marathon, right? It's just constantly running. You're constantly learning and improving. Getting out there and becoming better, and that's all you can be. And you have to love this field. You have to. My mentor said, if you could see yourself doing anything else, you want to do that because unless this is all you've ever wanted, music's probably you have to give everything to it. And I love
Yeah,
people, they see the music videos and they see you on the stage having a great time, but they don't realize the thousands of hours of practice and hard work that it takes to get there.
yeah, yeah. It is. It's a lot. It's a lot of work, but it. Papa always said, man, hard work pays off. So I couldn't do anything else, man. Well, no, I think that I probably could, but I
Sure.
wouldn't be happy.
With your
I wouldn't be
discipline and
happy.
hard work, you would be successful in anything you did. But
Yeah.
the fact that
Thank
you
you,
get to
man.
do something creative that you love, what an incredible blessing for you and for the people you get to hear you.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, man.
I read in one of the press things I read that Pops had said that you had he compared you favorably to Prince and Michael Jackson. Now, what was that like? Hearing that from such a legend.
Uh, Humbling, very humbling for him to say that, or even think of me that way. There's only one Prince. There's only one Michael Jackson. You know, um, but I will say that I am a student, so you'll probably get hopefully some sort of feel from me, you know, of what they do because I'm a student of them. That's just I can't help it.
What's the role? Thank you very much. What's the role of artists in healing the social challenges we all face today as a nation? What's your thoughts on that?
Um, just try to be a positive influence. You know, just try to think about the things that you say, think about the things that you do, the images that you portray, um, and care about. Be constant, consistent, and care about those things, and stay there because right now our people need it. They need some positivity, you know, in their lives and their eyesight. They need to see that. They need to feel it, you know. So that's what I think the role is. I think it's just, now everybody's not a role model, I understand that, you know, um, but at the same time you still have to have some sort of understanding of what you mean or what you could mean to someone else. Everybody's got you might have a brother or sister, a little brother, a little sister. They looking up to you. You know what I mean? So you just got to be mindful, man, and constant about that.
Yeah, artists have always had that role, because music speaks to people. It moves emotions, and it always has since the very beginning of time. And as a
Yeah.
musician, you have a responsibility there. Um, so you said you like to do like fundraisers and charities. And what does it feel like to give back to communities that you believe in?
Man, it feels great because, I can remember when I was a kid, you know, seeing, we had people like McGruff the crime dog, you know what I mean? Would come to our school, you know what I'm saying? But,
Take a bite at a
you
crime.
know, right, take a bite out of crime, man. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to McGruff the crime dog, by the way.
I remember those commercials
But,
growing up.
man, I'm trying to tell you. But, uh, look, I forgot what I was about to tell you, man. We got to stop thinking about McGruff the crime dog. But for me, being able to show up, to a kid's school or something like that, we had McGruff the crime dog. So, but if you got your favorite recording artist or something like that that's showing up to your school and you talking to them and, letting them know, hey, man, we care about what's going on. We want you to stay in school and be successful and be mindful about what you're doing on social media and, all of that kind of stuff. I think that's important. I think that's important, just as important as McGruff the crime dog is. I think.
Well, it's a real person. You're seeing someone you look up to who's actually living that model. We all need those models to be inspired by. So yeah, that's seeing a flesh and blood person up there who represents that is so important.
Well, I want to say this too. I want to say that it's more so important to me that kid sees that, and that it actually makes a difference in that kid's life. You know, more so that way. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Iyse. It's great to get to know you a bit, and continued success and blessings as you continue your career and get out there. And can't wait to see what's next for you. And once again, tell us how we find out, how do we follow your work, and how do we follow your music?
Man, you guys can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Find me on Spotify. YouTube. Just Google Iyse Gibson, Iyse Gibson.
Be on the lookout for this
And
great
shouts out to
artist,
you.
and thank you
Hey,
so
look, before
much.
you end it, man, I gotta say it. Shouts out to Jason Tramm and Music Matters, man. I appreciate you guys, man, for wanting to interview me. And to everyone else that's watching, man, keep up with this guy. Keep up with him, follow him, share it.
And we wish you a happy birthday and continued great music, my friend.
Bless you, brother.
Thank you for joining us on Music Matters with Jason Tramm. Please remember to subscribe to us on YouTube and smash that bell icon for the most up-to-date information on upcoming guests and topics. You can find us on Instagram also, and Facebook and Twitter and all of those platforms. And we have another show coming up tonight with the founders of the Mindfulness of Singing podcast. That'll be at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow we have one of the legends of an author and a famous composer of classical music, Jan Swafford. He's written some of the most important biographies of the great composers of the last 50 years. And we have an indie rock band called the Moon City Masters from Brooklyn. Brooklyn's putting out some good indie music. So please check us out, and remember, keep music alive.